The Mazda 3 shows a Porsche-like obsession with the details. Reviewing cars is a weird game. 1 minute you're in a 550 HP Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the next you're driving a 186 HP 2019 Mazda 3 sedan, and then the day closes out with a custom, 427 HP 1995 Porsche 911 Restomod by Gunther Works. Aside from all three being gasoline-powered vehicles, there doesn't appear to be much in common between the three. But going from one to the other in the span of a day reveals a shared obsession with fine-tuning the little things. Since this is the Mazda 3 review, we'll try to avoid discussing Porsches. The new 3 is filled with examples of places where its engineers and designers anguished over things most owners won't immediately notice but will certainly appreciate even if they can't put their finger on why they like the car, which is ironic because it's their fingers that get the attention. In the 3, Mazda went to the effort to make all of the 3's switchgear feel cohesive. Each button offers the same tactility and reacts like the others. The knobs for the climate control system, the audio volume, and the infotainment controller, Mazda calls it the Commander, all feel the same and turn with similar resistance. While the subtleties of the clicks might not be immediately apparent to customers, these small things add up to a difference. The cumulative effect is that the 3's interior exudes a quality similar to that of high-end audio equipment or cars that costs tens of thousands more than the new 3's $21,895 base price. The new 3's thoughtful trappings. What will be obvious to potential buyers are the quality materials and the clean, simplified interior design. Large analog gauges flank a digital speedometer that mimics an analog gauge. An optional head-up display projects clear info onto the windshield, replacing the lame gunsight reflective display on the outgoing 3 that folded out of the top of the instrument binnacle and showed your speed in fuzzy numbers. The HVAC controls appear to have been borrowed from Audi, and the steering wheel looks like it came out of a BMW. A new 8.8-inch screen is standard on every model and sits on the dashboard, canted toward the driver. In the previous generation car, the infotainment screen could be operated as a touch screen or by the central controller. Now, it's out of reach and entirely operated by the larger console-mounted knob. A volume knob sits next to the Commander interface. Pushing it to the left or right lets you skip to the next song or station, another touch shared with Audi. The infotainment's menu structure is logical, responses are quick, and each individual function gets an explanation and a graphic that, for example, patiently explains that the Bose Centerpoint feature is how you adjust the surround sound. While the 10-speaker Bose system is a tempting option, the stock audio system's 6-speaker setup is remarkably clear and powerful. Both systems lack a door-mounted mid-range speaker. Instead, that speaker gets its own enclosure and is tucked under the instrument panel, just below the base of the A-pillar and ahead of the door. Hiding those speakers ensures that the door won't rattle in response to high volumes, and it removes the hole from the door itself, reducing outside noise. To keep your in-car phone conversations private, the audio system is set up to prevent anyone outside from hearing embarrassing news from your urologist. At a normal to even a sort of loud volume, it's remarkable how muted it is outside the car. Dynamic tuning. Although we were sold on the merits of the audio system, we didn't fully buy into Mazda's newfound obsession with the pelvis. Okay, that sounded a little weird. Engineers on hand tried to convince us that the 3's new front seats locate the pelvis in a way that eases the work required by the occupant's upper body to control itself in response to bumps and corners. They made a lot of hay about the importance of the new driver's seat, which offers more thigh support to improve the driving position and, of course, that pelvic position. Indeed, it's a comfortable seat, but it doesn't feel any different versus our preferred driving position. We thought the chassis tuning and the extra 0.8-inch added to the telescoping action of the steering wheel were substantially more important. No turbo for you. A 6-speed manual transmission will be available on the hatchback, but sedans are limited to a very smart 6-speed automatic that will expertly hold ratios into and through corners. Whoever did the transmission calibration clearly understands how to pick a gear. Sitting next to the transmission is a carryover 2.5-liter inline-4 making 186 horsepower at 6,000 rpm and 186 lb-ft of torque at 4,000 rpm. The engine is adequately powerful and should at least match the 30 mpg combined EPA rating that the previous three achieved with the 2.5 and the automatic. But it lacks the easy low-end pull of turbocharged rivals from Honda, Volkswagen, Kia, and Hyundai. There isn't much of a push even when you spin the engine toward its 6,500 rpm redline. Based on the new car's curb weights of roughly 3,000 pounds, we expect a 0 to 60 mph figure of 6.9 to 7.2 seconds. At least the 4's labors remain far off stage. Road and wind noise are largely hushed, although we'd need to drive it back to back with its competition, as well as at the test track, to determine if it's a class leader. An additional inch in the 3's wheelbase, now at 107.3 inches, is likely why rear seat room is good enough for 6-footers to sit behind themselves without their knees touching the back of the front seat. Uber riders will appreciate the space. Styling makes a statement. The 3's new bodywork is easy to appreciate as well. With styling purposely designed to omit sharp cut lines along the body sides, each panel flows into the other. While we prefer the hatch's more aggressive design and tidier 175.6-inch length, the longer sedan does its best to get the proportions right. Small sedans are the hot dog fingers of the car design world, stubby, inelegant, and uglier the longer you look. The 3 combats this with a low and relatively long trunk and a handsome nose. While sedans open at $21,895, Mazda is asking $24,495 for the base hatch. All-wheel drive is coming after the initial launch in March, and it'll add $1,400 to most models. There's no discount for the stick-shift gearbox, and Mazda thinks that manual interest means you'll also want the premium trim level, so start searching the couch cushions for $28,395. If that seems high, we'd have to agree. A base Volkswagen GTI starts at $28,490, and while the Mazda at that price has more equipment, we'd rather have the sportier GTI. Keep the price below the VW's entry point, though, and the 3 is a refined standout in its segment, even when you drive it on the same day as 2 very special Porsches.